and support them. But first, we are going to take a look at the trainer cards coming in the new set. Welcome to Jank Play TCG. My name's Landon, and here we play Jank. And this guy right here, look here. Yeah, that's Casanova. He is my puppy. He decided to join me out in the shed today. Although he is regretting it almost immediately because it is cold. I've got my heater on. We'll see how he does. So, right off the bat, let's just jump in to Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Obviously, this is a card that is going to support Ancient Pokemon and is a Pokemon tool. So, the Ancient Pokemon this card is attached to gets plus 60 HP, which is quite a lot, recovers from all special conditions, and can't be affected by any special conditions. So it kind of just negates special conditions and gives you more health, which is amazing. And then there's cards that will, interact with this if it's attached. I'm thinking of Brute Bonnet that can poison both active Pokemon if this is attached to it, right? So you've got that option as well. I think this is a phenomenal card and really going to push that ancient subcategory of Pokemon a little bit further in the meta. I've already got some ideas brewing. Next up, we've got Counter Catcher. Counter Catcher is a reprint. We had that back in, I believe we got it in Crimson Invasion, the 4th set of Sun and Moon, and here we are 4 sets in deep to Paradox Rift, or to Scarlet Violet, and we are getting Counter Capture. So very excited for this card to be back. It reads, you can use this card only if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, so you need to be losing the game. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. So you have control over what goes into the active, which is phenomenal. As an item card, usually this is an effect reserved for boss's orders, a supporter, but you get to use it as an item as long as you are behind on prizes, and I do think that is a fair trade-off, right? So, next one. We've got Cursed Duster, which is another Pokemon tool. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. This is very much reminding me, was it that mask, that spiritual mask? Oh man, I'm gonna look it up. Pokemon TCG mask? Panic Mask? Spirit Mask? I think it's Spirit Mask from Evolving Skies. So that will be rotating soon, but currently we still have it in the set. And if the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, your opponent discards a card from their hand. So I guess Spirit Mask, it is still in your opponent's control what card is discarded, where Cursed Duster, while it is not in their control, is a random card, so it's not even in your control either. And you don't get hand knowledge to view the hand or anything like that. It does only trigger when the Pokemon is knocked down, not when it's damaged, which is key, right? So it's gonna be a situation where you gotta decide between Spirit Mask and Cursed Duster. I think one of the bigger differences here is Cursed Duster does trigger on the bench, right? And we see Manaphy, some people skip playing Manaphy altogether. So if you're one of those people and you're playing some disruption, you might want to think about Cursed Duster attached to your benched Pokemon, so when Greninja knocks them out on the bench, they'll have to discard a random card. If they knock out 2 Pokemon with Cursed Duster, that's 2 random cards from their hand, which could be devastating. So they'll really have to pick and choose their targets. I think it's a lot of fun. Next up, we have Defiance Vest, and I love this. I think it's super strong, super awesome. Let's check it out. It's a Pokemon tool. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, the Pokemon this card is attached to takes 40 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon, after applying weakness and resistance. This is a lot. Minus 40 damage is a lot to throw on anything. Now, it only works if you're behind on prizes, similar to Counter Capture. Will this be the difference in like a tournament winning list? It might be. It's just not as reliable as I would like to see. 40 less damage does remind me of a Pokemon tool, again, from the Sun and Moon era. This era is feeling very similar to Sun and Moon. The era that I fell in love with before tag teams, that is. Hopefully they won't make that mistake again. But there was a bodybuilding dumbbells, which could only be attached to stage 1s, which I was playing, Alolan Raticate, awesome Pokemon, and it gave him 40 more HP. Now this is roughly doing similar, except this can be attached to anything, not just stage 1s, and instead of plus 40 HP, it's 40 less damage, which overall is often more valuable because it will trigger again and again and again and again. Now, if you're behind on prizes and this is what's keeping you alive for 2 turns, bravo, it has put in the work. Hurry up and win the frickin' game already, right? So Defiance Fest is one of those cards, it's difficult to play because you never want to count on being behind on prizes, but we see people playing Reversal Energy and that has the same trigger. So, you know, what deck is designed to be played from behind on prizes? I'm thinking Fortress EX. Hey Casanova, why don't you jump up here? Come on, you're getting antsy. Yeah, just come up here, I will pet you while I look at cards. But yeah, Defiance Fest is a lot of negative damage, right? Less damage that you're taking. It's more than the Rock Chest Plate, and that's only for fighting type Pokemon. This is for anything as long as you're behind on prizes. Alright. Alright. Did you not want to be up here? No, you do. Okay. So, Earthen Vessel, an item card, and a very broken item card, in my opinion. I think this will see play in so many decks, even ones that don't play any ancient Pokemon, although this is an ancient card. So, you can use this card only if you discard another card from your hand. Small price to pay. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Phenomenal. You know, think about Superior Energy Retrieval. That is, you discard 2 cards from your hand to get 4 energy from your discard. So you gotta have that energy in the discard in order to use Superior Energy Retrieval, and then you're discarding an extra card. This is discard 1 card, and you get 2 from the deck. So turn 1, you can get that energy that you're missing. You just have to discard a card from your hand, which, who knows, might be an energy anyways. Casanova, are you okay? He does this sometimes. He hacks. We don't know why. We know his trachea isn't doing great, but other than that, we don't know why. Anyways, Earthen Vessel, I think, is phenomenal, and we'll see play in so many decks. I would want to say just about any of them, but, you know, there might be someone that doesn't like it. Moving on. We've got Future Boost Energy Capsule. So this is the future version of that thing that we already looked at, the ancient version of. Is a Pokemon tool. The future Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost, and the attack it uses do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. I think the no retreat cost is where this is insane. Think about Iron Valiant, where as you are switching it into the active, it does 20 damage to a Pokemon. This is giving Iron Valiant a free retreat, which means that it's so much easier to swap out of, right? You only get 1 retreat per turn. However, you're going to use switch cards. You're going to want to be switching all the time. This is just going to help that, right? Absolutely fantastic, and it does give them no retreat cost. It doesn't lower their retreat cost. It's no retreat cost. So anything that would increase retreat, I'm thinking Spidops, because yes, I still play it, is going to hate this tool, right? I might have to find some tool removal space in the deck in order to counter this. Next up, we've got Larry, who just wants to put in a hard day's work and get the hell home. No working past 8 hours. You were watching the clock, time card in hand, and 8. Boom, done, out. We're gone. We are done for the day. Yeah. But he also does put in the extra work when needed. Obviously, he was a gym leader as well as an Elite Four, just filling in the gym leader role as necessary. So we got Larry, a supporter card. Flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon and reveal them. That is 2 Pokemon. Any Pokemon, just You got to find them and reveal them. You got to flip heads. That's it. That's the tough part, right? However, if you hit tails, you search your deck for a basic Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, you get something. That is the beauty of Larry. You get something regardless. You want to hit heads, obviously, and get 2 Pokemon into your hand nice and easily. But even if you hit tails, you can still find that basic that you're going to need to evolve in the future. And next turn, you're going to want Professor's Research, dig for those evolutions that you weren't able to find with Larry, and start evolving, right? So, Larry, I like it that you get something, no matter what. But if you hit heads, you get 2 of anything, which is pretty powerful. Next up, we've got Luxurious Cape, which is just a phenomenal tool. Very spicy. So, if the Pokemon this card is attached to doesn't have a rule box, it gets 100 HP, and if it is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that player takes 1 more prize card. So it takes a non-rule box Pokemon and basically turns him into a rule box Pokemon. I'm already thinking about throwing this into my wife's Dondozo deck, which is a big, beefy, basic with 160 HP, and you throw on a Luxurious Cape. That is 260 HP, now a 2 prize Pokemon. Very interesting, and I do see that there's no rule, as far as I know, about removing Luxurious Cape when you have close to knockout damage, so that it turns back into a 1 prize Pokemon, and so it gets knocked out immediately. Your opponent takes that 1 prize rather than 2, and then you get to attack, right? So you've got to play tool removal for that setup, but I could definitely see something like that happening. Next, we've got Mela. Mela is going to be the fire accelerant that we're going to need post-rotation. Is it actually losing anything post-rotation? I don't know. But already, Charizard EX, the dark one from Obsidian Flames, gives so much energy acceleration. Could you need more? Mela's got your back if you do. Mela is a supporter card. You can only use this card only if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, similar to Raihan. Attach a basic fire energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and if you do, draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So not only is it energy acceleration, it is draw as well, which is so important. The limitation of playing it only after Pokemon's knocked out, I mean, that's not that tough of a limitation currently in the format. So I could see Melusine play in just about any fire deck. He's just staring at the door. Norman, Gen 3 Gym Leader. I'm a big Gen 3 fan. Norman, he's also your dad in Gen 3. So, you know, dad energy coming off here. Supporter, draw 2 cards. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, draw 2 more. While this card will get better as time moves forward, because these will be rotated out of the format, it's still not a guarantee to draw you 4. I don't like it. It's under your opponent's control, and it's dependent on the matchup, right? If I was playing against a Miraidon deck, okay, I feel a little bit more confident. If I'm playing against Lost Box, I do not feel confident at all with Norman. So, you know, I don't think this is going to see much play, except in limited formats. So, if you want to hear more about a limited format, check out my Limited League alternative format video, where we are running into our Paradox Rift format soon, the Paradox Rift Limited League, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be way better than the Obsidian Flames League. Not that that was bad, but it got a little predictable by the end. So hopefully Paradox Rift will keep the spice flowing. Next, we've got Parasol Lady. She's trapped in the rain. She's got her parasol. Supporter card, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 4 cards. If you go second and it's your first turn, draw 8 instead. I love the draw 8, not so happy about the draw 4. So, the issue with Parasol Lady is it's a supporter. You can only play 1 per turn. And, its draw 8 is limited in the fact that it's only your first turn going second, right? So, to maximize that draw 8, you're going to want to play 4 of. However, you can only play 1 supporter. on your first turn going second. That supporter you want to be Parasol Lady. So if you're playing Luminion, maybe you throw in one Parasol Lady. If you're not playing Luminion, you're going to have to play 4 Parasol Lady, and then it's just a worse youngster for the rest of the game, and I don't like that. Youngster's already difficult to justify playing. Parasol Lady is going to be even more so. So sadly, Parasol Lady is not that great of a card, but the waifu tax might make a valuable card if you pull a rarer version of it. Next up, we've got Professor Sada's Vitality, an ancient card. That's important. It is a supporter, and you choose up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon and attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to each of them. If you attached any energy this way, draw 3 cards. Sorry, I'm going to need a little water before this. Ooh, that's good. So, choose up to 2 of your ancient Pokemon and attach basic energy cards from your discard pile to each of them. Would have been an effect that would have justified a supporter, honestly. And then you get to draw 3 cards in addition to it. It is obviously broken. If you don't believe me, check out Tricky Jim's video about Roaring Moon EX, because Roaring Moon EX is going to be the new top deck, in my opinion. It can KO anything, including a 3-prizer, for 3 energy. Now, getting that 3 energy is a little difficult, but Tricky Jim was able to pull it off fairly reliably, not guaranteed, but fairly reliably every game, which is insane. Andrew Mahone, you are an insane deck builder. But he's a top player for a reason. So Professor Sada obviously is going to be super valuable and played in so many decks that play ancient Pokemon. That is the limitation on Professor Sada's Vitality. It really only supports ancient Pokemon. Unlike Earthen Vessel, was that what it was called? I think? I don't know. My mind is just, not great right now. Yes, Casanova, just wait. Professor Sada's Vitality is going to be insane for ancient Pokemon. So many decks I can dream up that will use this in interesting ways. Next, we have Professor Toro's scenario. Another dad in the format. Is that weird? I don't know. He is a supporter, and put one of your Pokemon in play from your hand. What? I misread this when I originally saw it. I thought it was, yes, okay. Oh, man. Okay. Put one of your Pokemon in play into your hand. Is that what I said? I hope that's what I said. So, this is like Penny, but Penny only works on basics, right? This is any Pokemon. Unlike Professor Sada, Professor Turo is going to help out any deck. Any stall deck is going to want this. Any deck that's playing a 3-prizer currently in this format is going to want this. Pick up your VMAX. Oh, they don't get 3 prizes. Oh, what a shame. Right? Like, okay, I'm thinking of that one fossil Pokemon V. What is it? Single energy, and it does damage, but if you attack it, it does more damage back, or it discards energy or something. I'm thinking that guy, right? You played Professor Turo's scenario, pick it up right before your opponent is able to knock it out. Amazing, right? So Professor Turo's scenario is going to be fantastic in the format and going to lead to some long games, honestly. I hope the organized play is ready for that, because games are going to get longer now. Next up, we've got Rika. Rika, I think, is a fairly balanced card. It is a supporter, and you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 of them into your hand, shuffle the other cards, and put them on the bottom of your deck. I drew the comparison to Colress's experiment, right? Where you look at the top 5, you keep 3, and you lost zone 2 cards. Rika doesn't lost zone your cards. They actually keep it in the deck, which is fairly nice. The only issue I have is that you look at the top 4. If you looked at the top 5 and kept 2, okay. If you looked at the top 5 and took 3, very good. look at the top 4, you're missing that 5th card that Colress's Experiment gets you, right? So it's going to be tough to justify Rika. It is essentially a draw 4, like, shuffle 2 back and put them on the bottom of your deck. Like, you know, it's a weird situation. But I do think it will be useful for particular decks that might be a little bit more flimsy in essence of they can't justify Colress's Experiment. Similar to like my Spy Dots list, I couldn't justify Professor's Research, discarding that many important cards. But there could be some justification for Rika. Next, we have Rorik. Rorik is a supporter card, and draw 2 cards, put a basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand. If it was attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, Rorik would be insanely good, but it's not. It's energy recovery, not energy acceleration, and draw 2 cards. That is where, sadly, I think Rorik is just not good enough. It's not going to do enough for you in the standard format, especially in the expanded format, but in the standard format, in order to justify it, right? So, sadly, Rorik, I just don't think is good enough. Next up, we have Chantel. Chantel is a supporter card, and sadly, I think its effect just misses the goal here. Flip a coin. If heads, switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon into the active slot. If tails, switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. So, if heads, it's Boss's Orders, right? Which we already have Boss's Orders as a supporter. You should just play Boss's Orders instead of Chantel. No one is playing 4 Boss's Orders and going, man, I wish I had a 5th Boss's Orders. I guess I'll play Chantel and hope for the coin flip, right? No, it's just not good. I'm sorry, Chantel, but it's just not good enough. Sorry. Moving on. We have Snorlax Doll. Snorlax Doll is hilarious. So it is an item card, and it basically acts as a Pokemon with 120 HP. But when your opponent knocks it out, they don't take a prize, right? If this Pokemon is in your hand, when you're setting up to play, you may put it face down in the active spot or on your bench, as if it were a 120 HP basic colorless Pokemon. You can do this when you're setting up in play. You can only do this when you're setting up to play. At any time during your turn, you may discard this card from play. This card can't be affected by any special conditions and can't retreat. If this Pokemon card is knocked out, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So, the funny part is, we go back to Luxurious Cape as 100 HP, and your opponent takes one more prize card when they knock it out. However, Snorlax actually says your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So you can have a 220 Pokemon in the active spot or on the bench at the start of play and attach a Luxurious Cape. And guess what? They can't take any prize cards for it. That is hilarious, and I want to see someone use this in a tournament. I don't know how. It's not very reliable, but it is quite funny. So yeah, Snorlax Doll is gonna be a fun, janky card. Next up, we have Technical Machine Blindside. Now, we have a few Technical Machine cards here, and each one of them, I think, is just awesome. I love these things. Giving random Pokemon different attacks is just going to be fantastic. So, Technical Machine Blindside. The Pokemon this card is attached to can use the attack on this card. You still need the necessary energy to use this attack. If this card is attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of your turn. So, you attach it and you gotta use it, right? If you don't use it, you still lose it. So you don't attach it without using it. And this is a 3 energy attack, so this is gonna be something you have to prepare for. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. That is bench sniping 100 damage as long as they have a damage counter on them. I'm thinking Hawlucha to drop a damage counter and then blindside them and do 100 damage. That's 110 damage total. That's pretty freaking good in my opinion. Heck yeah, Blindside, you are pretty good, but not as good as these other Technical Machines I've seen. Next one, Technical Machine De-Evolution. So same top text there. The attack is De-Evolution for 1 energy. Devolve each of your opponent's Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. Which is just so... This is a setup deck, right? You can set up a bunch of damage to knock out the pre-evolutions, especially since most Stage 2s are reliant on rare candy, and Stage 1s go back to a basic. So if you can somehow get, say, 70 damage on all the Pokemon in play, right? Then de-evolution all of them, you can knock out several Pokemon at once, which will be hilarious, taking multiple KOs in a turn. I feel like you can just throw this into any deck as a one-of. And at the end of the game, you know, oh, your opponent retrieved that Pokemon that you were trying to knock out. De-evolution, Technical Machine, 1 energy, boom. I de-evolve it, I take those prizes anyways, right? This is going to be a very powerful tool when used correctly. Situational, but I think less situational than Blindside is even. Next up, Technical Machine Evolution, same top text. So then the attack is 1 energy evolution. Choose up to 2 of your bench Pokemon. For each of these Pokemon, search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. This makes me think of Indeedee from Scarlet and Violet. I have it in my Spidops deck. Not many people know about it. Not many people use it. But for a single energy, Indeedee is a Pokemon that could use an attack that would evolve one of your benched Pokemon. And evolving a Spidops like that fast threw off so many people's plans. It was amazing. Technical Machine will now let any Pokemon do it and evolve up to 2 Pokemon on your bench. Absolutely brutal. It cannot evolve your active Pokemon. You gotta keep that in mind. And I think this is just, if you're playing any evolution deck, you gotta be playing this, right? Imagine Gardevoir getting their Kirlias out turn 1 going second. So turn 2 going second, they're already into Gardevoirs, right? With all that Kirlia beforehand to try to draw into their Gardevoirs. Just broken, honestly. Next, we have Technical Machine Turbo Energize. Same top text, but the attack is 1 energy, Turbo Energize. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, then shuffle your deck. Energy acceleration for anyone, anything, absolutely broken. Love it. Should be played in every deck, I think. Just being able to accelerate energy however you want is phenomenal. You get to search your deck for the 2 energy and attach them to your benched Pokemon in any way you like. Any Pokemon with that attack is already good. This is a tool card that can be attached to any Pokemon and give them that attack for 1 turn. Fantastic. Love it. Don't forget we have Arven in the format that can search for all these technical machines and an item card. Like, yes, please, give me these already. Jank decks are begging for these already. Next card. Techno Radar. So Techno Radar is a tool card for future Pokemon. You can use this card only if you discard another card from your hand. Oh, it's not a tool. Why did I say tool? It looks like a tool. It is not a tool. It is an item card. Search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon. Reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So, I'm thinking, 1 second. Battle VIP Pass, anyone? However, it lets you search for anything and they go into the hand. So that is evolution Pokemon and everything. And it's not limited to your first turn. This can be nuts, right? Well, I guess there's no evolution future Pokemon. So forget I said that. But Battle VIP Pass that you can use at any time throughout the game. Yes, please, I want some more. Iron Bundle is something I'm thinking with Techno Radar to search out and make your opponent switch their Pokemon, discard Iron Bundle, recover it with Super Rod, and then search it out again, right? Like, there are so many things you can do with Techno Radar. I think it's going to be key to any deck that plays future Pokemon. Next, Whew, Tulip. Casanova, we got Tulip and one other card to look at. Okay, so 1 second. Tulip. Oh, no, wait, we've got an energy as well. Tulip, a supporter card. Put up to 4 in any combination of psychic Pokemon and basic psychic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. That is phenomenal recovery for any deck that uses psychic Pokemon and psychic energy. This has got to see play in any psychic deck, in my opinion. And mix that with the Natu and the Xatu and the Espertha and like just so many other cards. This is a phenomenal card. Gonna see play. Fantastic. Love it. So many great trainer cards. Next, we have... Oh, that's just Larry. Really? Yeah, that's just Larry. All right. So we've got all those special arts. We're not going to look at those, but we are going to look at medical energy. This is the last card. Here we go. It is a special energy, and as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 1 colorless energy. So what's the point? But here's the point. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. It's healing, it's an energy, it's exactly what you want it to be. It is beautiful, I love it. Not many decks are going to want to play it, but there will be those that do, that rock it, you know? They will just love this energy, and yeah. I'm excited for this energy. I'm excited what people will do for this energy. It's not a great energy card. It's not an instant play in every deck. It is very situational for your deck, but I think it's fun, right? And that is it. We have finished card analysis for every Paradox Rift card in the new set that is out today. Go to your local game store, pick up some packs or a whole box. Yeah, and just have fun with it. Highly recommend you talk to them while you're there about the Limited League. You can reference my video for it. Highly recommend that. I think it is a very fun way to build a collection, get new people in. We have converted a lot of Magic players to this Limited League format, and it's beautiful. Love it. So excited for people to play. What else can I say? Thank you so much for watching. This is a long one, but I'm grateful. Go ahead, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I am live streaming later today. It's like 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so be sure to check that out. Whether or not you made it here to check out the live stream, or you've seen this later, you can still check out the live streamed video. And what else? Check out the Discord where we've got some awesome deck builders. And we're constantly talking Jank cards. And of course, until next time, keep playing Jank.